Welcome to the United States of Tiffany. Our commentary offers a humorous take on wrestling. Please note, we're not bullying or attacking the wrestlers. We're engaging with the choreographed sport and its storylines. Our jokes and observations are about the characters and storylines, not the real people behind them. Tourists and citizens alike, welcome. Enjoy the show, and remember, it's all in good fun.
Well, Raw wasn't a bad show. We can definitely attest to that. It was far from it. We're gonna talk about Monday Night Raw, but first, we must be respectful to everybody who's coming early. So, top commenter of the day. The top commenter of the day is very simple. Whoever comes in first after I actually go live gets top commenter of the day. And who was that? Dun, 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 dun. When I went live, Kayla was the first one in, and then it was Janelle, and then it was Mika. Everybody else was already sitting in the live right before I went in. But thank you guys so much for being here early. To Louie, let me see, Kira, Lil 1316, Keisha baby girl, hey Keisha girl, and then we had Chili Pepper. You guys were in here a little too early to get top commenter of the day, so you get a quiet honorable mention. All right, but everybody else, thank you for coming in on time. Well, hello, how are you? Things are quite eventful today. There was a lot going on. They decided to actually put on a decent show tonight. So let us talk about it, shall we? What is going on with my computer? Like, is you cool? You know what I'm saying? Like, how was you cool? All right. I finally got her to stop acting a goddamn fool. So we're gonna take this off and we're gonna talk about Raw. They did not put up any graphics on the WWE website. I didn't see any over on Twitter, even though there probably are some up there now. But there are a few things that were set up for the very near future with us, and Monday Night Raw's landscape has changed because people returned today, a lot of returns today, but not only returned, people have been set up for feuds. So let's go through it. Roman Reigns had a little tit for tat session with LA Knight, and unfortunately for Roman, there is a juggernaut that's in the room here. Okay. Roman is not going to be able to take on LA Knight head on, mic for mic, bar for bar. That's not going to be an easy feat. You're dealing with a superstar who's main character work rests in his ability to talk for Roman, and he got exposed today badly. Because even though Roman usually could say the shit he said and just walk away, and any other superstar would have just let him leave, LA Knight came back and was not hesitating, didn't stutter, didn't do shit. That man came back and cut Roman real deep, mocked his family, mocked how he got discovered in the E in the first place, tore him down, and then left. It was beautiful. I have to give him a to him. It was well done. It was well done. Okay. I doubt if they had new writers, honestly. Hello, how are you? We're talking about Raw. My day is good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Roman got cooked on the microphone today. It is what it is. Accept it. Even you tribal chief lovers you're going to have to just take this one on the chin, babes. He got ate up really bad by LA Knight. Moving on. Not only was Roman highly irritated that LA Knight had the audacity to challenge him, but he also was irritated at the fact that the Usos didn't get the job done at SummerSlam. That pissed him off to no end. And he essentially took the chains off of the Samoan werewolf and told him to handle Roy's keys because he's not family. However, not even 10 minutes ago, he was in the ring calling Seth Rollins his brother once again. So I guess the rules change by who they apply to. As long as Roman makes the rules, you have to follow them. And they just may change on the fly. Or they bend for him specifically. Moving on. For the rest of the night, there were quite a few surprises. Javon Evans had a match with Ethan Page, classic match between the two, but that wasn't even the part that people are going to hyper fixate on. Ethan Page lost to Javon Evans. And while Javon Evans was celebrating, Big Cass showed up and decimated Javon Evans. Later on in the night, Jackie asked him what was the reason. And his response was simple, that it was no disrespect. Like there's no animosity. It's just business. And Javon, it just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. I could understand if he walked into you in the back, but Cass, you brought your big ass out there during his celebration, not the other way around. And what really always baffles me when a big guy debuts is they always put him up against a guy who considerably under normal circumstances, if they could actually fight, which I don't believe most wrestlers can, you wouldn't really stand much of a chance unless you had some special skills. And I don't like that. If Big Cass is going to debut, Bron Breakker was right there. But speaking of Bron Breakker, we're going to get to him in a second. Well, let's keep it moving, shall we? Liv Morgan came out there and started hollering and screaming as she always does and made it very clear that she had no challengers for her title and that she was in the free and clear and that her homegirl she was proud of. And even though Roxanne is titleless and ain't got shit going on, but whatever they give her, she was proud of her too. Now, Roxanne had a match with Soul Ruka. Great match. Soul was about to win, but Liv Morgan got involved, got caught by the referee, and this gave Soul Ruka the win via disqualification. Now, here's where things get sticky because during this, Soul is being beat up, and then Becky shows up, and Becky makes it very clear that she's going after the championship now, and that Liv Morgan can't just hide behind no challengers anymore, that she's there and she's coming after her title. Then as they leave and they don't really say anything, like Liv Morgan doesn't really give much other than that she's the greatest champion of all time. Becky Lynch is jealous of her, which is sure, whatever. Then she's like, we're leaving. We don't want to have anything to do with her. We're leaving. And then all of a sudden, Stephanie Bakir's music hits and they run. She runs into the ring and there's fire in front of her and fire behind her. And Stephanie is paying Becky Lynch no mind while Becky's sitting on the top of the ring post. As they escape and Bakir gets rid of the rest of Judgment Day, she realizes that Becky is still in the ring and the two of them are having words. And Stephanie tells her very plainly, stay out of my way. And Becky says, or what? That would have been my cue to punch you in your shit. But everybody's not me. So do you. But in the near future, I suspect that Becky Lynch and Stephanie Bakir will be battling it out to take on Liv Morgan, more than likely at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view or Sunday night main event in Atlanta. Because those are the next two PLEs that we have within the next couple of months. Not to mention, WWE is going on a Mexico tour. And I suspect that they're going to want to have Stephanie Bakir on that tour. With that being said, if I don't forget everything that happened today, Femi came out. And basically what he said is that Brock Lesnar set up a test for him to see if he was ready to take his spot. And he said, at first, I thought it was jealousy. I thought that he was just trying me because he didn't understand. But really, reality, he was testing me. And I passed the first test and then I passed the last. So now that Brock Lesnar, I've earned his respect and I want to thank him for everything he did. He also told Paul Heyman to pass that message to Brock Lesnar, to which Paul Heyman was incredibly respectful, a little too respectful. Very, very scary work. Because right after that, Oba does his promo, and then we hear Bron Breaker's music. Bron comes out there, and he stares down Oba Femi for I don't know how long. And this stays that way, even into his match with Joe Hendry, which Joe Hendry did a pretty decent job going up against Bron Breaker. But Breaker ended up not being able to even fully compete. He speared Joe Hendry, pinned him, and then continued to stare at where Oba Femi was, not where Oba Femi is. Now, I don't know about you, but it looks to me that Bron Breaker is quite angry that the torch was passed to Oba instead of him. But if we're being 1,000% honest, Oba Femi has the aura and you don't. Oba Femi has the ability to talk on the microphone and you don't. Oba Femi has the showmanship. You do, but it doesn't compete where it doesn't compare. I'm sorry. But even as a Steiner, you've got to put in a little bit more work. With that being said, it looks like there are quite a few feuds set up from Monday Night Raw. Big Cass has returned. He took out Javon Evans. Liv Morgan has more than one problem on her hand, and I suspect very soon that there will be 3 problems on her hand if they play their cards correctly. And then you have Oba Femi and Bron Breakker. Then, after the match, Austin Theory, he was attacked, but Joe Hendry was getting attacked by Austin Theory throughout the match. Austin Theory came into the ring and attacked Joe Hendry and was mercilessly beating him down. That's when Akira Tozawa came in and took him out. And he said this was for Oba. Because if you recall, they beat the crap out of Oba. And of course, Maxine helped them. Yet, when Akira was in there taking him out, I didn't see her get her ass in there. More than likely, it was because she barely had any clothes on. And here's the thing. I am all for you being the villain and a heel and everything, but why do you have to be half naked? Like, why do all your clothes have to be a part of the itty bitty teeny weedy committee? Like, what is going on? I don't understand the logic because you could be a villain and not have to take off all your clothes to do it. That's all I'm saying. I don't know about y'all. Some of y'all may enjoy it, but whatever makes you happy. But me personally, I just don't feel like you should have to be butt ass naked to be a bad girl. You know, but whatever. What else happened on Monday Night Raw? A lot happened on the show, actually. Oh, Lord. What else happened? Um, Now Royce and Jacob had the final throws of the show. We saw um prior to that, Chad Gable and Penta teamed up to go up against Dom and JD McDonough. I think they should have put that match in the middle of the show. I don't think they should have had it at the finals of the show. Um, Street fight was fine. I didn't have a problem with it until the end. Jacob is unhinged. Jacob beat the crap out of Royce, beat the hell out of Royce. It was so unnecessary, but he did. He beat the hell out of him. I don't think there was any other women's segment on the show. I think that was the only one. Am I missing anything? I feel like I'm missing some stuff. Somebody tell me in the comments what I'm missing because it's been a long day. Is the best way to explain it. And I'm just like, I know I'm not. I know I done covered everything, or at least I thought I covered everything. Not kiss already. That's gross. Them two ladies don't want to kiss each other. Hell, she got a whole man in the back sitting there cheering every time she go out there. And you know they was in Iowa, which is wild. They was in Seth's hometown, and he was nowhere to be found. They could have at least let him open up the show, but they gave that spot to Roman so that he can have that moment with LA Knight. And then Becky came out because she's his wife, so she got a roaring response from the crowd. It's very interesting. For the most part, I would say Monday Night Raw was a good show. This was um a good setup after SummerSlam to see where we're going next. But a lot of things are moving, the parts are moving, the pieces are moving, and it's very interesting. I don't know who's going to be in Survivor Series now. They've really changed up where everything is going to go, and that is a good thing. I think WWE is doing a good job booking that. Um Especially with the women's Survivor Series cage, like that's not even set in stone either. We don't know where everything is heading. But the interesting thing is going to be Friday. Friday is going to be your big moment because Kevin's going to be there. Hopefully, Randall will be there. Cody's going to be there. You're going to have CM Punk. And of course, it's going to be Sammy and Finn and Gunther. These are your top guys on the roster now. And even though Trick Williams no longer has the U.S. title, he also could be considered one of those top guys if they decide to move him over there. There's a lot of working space now on the roster for the men. And the women's division in WWE for Raw, for rather SmackDown, is solid as long as they move the pieces correctly. On Raw is where they seem to have an issue. But Stephanie's come back to fill in the void a little bit, and so has Becky Lynch. Personally, I feel like you could have moved some girls from SmackDown over to Raw to really give them an opportunity to shine. But it is what it is. Overall, I would say the show for Monday Night Raw, give it a solid 8. I think that it was a solid show overall. I didn't have a problem with the show. I thought it was interesting, kept my focus on the show, and I truly enjoyed it. Now, what Kira's talking about, which I did remember that. I was just thinking if I forgot anything else in between the show. At the end of Monday Night Raw, if you turned it off before it went off, you missed Rey Mysterio talking to Roman Reigns. And Rey basically asked him, he said, I'm the GM of AAA, and I want to run something by you right quick. And Roman said, okay, we'll step into my office. And the two of them walked away. leads me to believe that very soon you might see the tribal chiefs show up, or the Usos or the bloodline in general show up down in AAA. This could be a very interesting time. Now you have to remember that over on SmackDown, the Tongans are going after the tag team titles for both AAA and the WWE SmackDown Championship. So this could lead to some Tongans versus Usos type of situations. And I might like that. I might like that a lot. You know what I'm saying? But, who knows? Who knows what's happening? Anyways, there wasn't really much to talk about in terms of how everything went down, but there was a lot to talk about in terms of how people came back and what it set up. Now, if WWE isn't as transparent as I believe, my thoughts could be just, thoughts in the wind for now. But obviously, it looks like Stephanie and Becky are going to be entangled in something, with Liv Morgan being the prize at the end. Personally, I think you should give that to Stephanie. It's owed to her, because if we're being real, she should have won at the last PLE, and she should have been able to be an interim champion while Liv Morgan runs around with the title and come back and they can face each other again. Now, you did it for Rhea. You could have did it for Stephanie Becker as well. Now, I think you should get rid of Liv Morgan, take the title off of her, put it on Stephanie, and then let Stephanie battle with Becky Lynch, rather than making Stephanie and Becky battle and then letting the victor of that go after Liv Morgan. To me, Liv Morgan shouldn't be the final boss. Out of all three of them, she is not the better wrestler. Stephanie is. And I liked her as a champion. I don't have a problem with Liv Morgan as a heel champion, but I'm just tired of her at this current point. Big Cass, I don't know what they're doing with you, but personally, I would have put you on Oba Femi first. Now, I know a lot of people are like, well, Oba would have buried him. Not necessarily, not necessarily. But if you weren't going to do that, then you could have put him on Bron Breakker. I don't know, but I don't like him just beating people up. I hate that. I've always hated that trope. It bothers me. I wish Bronson Reed was back, because Bronson would be a good test of feet with Big Cass. So if Bronson was back, I would put him on there. But what's giving me great pause is Paul Heyman is not interacting with the Vision the way he used to. He's not talking to Austin Theory, Logan Paul, or Bron Breakker. They're not having conversations. And that's giving me pause, especially when he's giving Oba Femi so much respect and admiration. I don't like that. That looks dangerous to me. Now, if Paul Heyman really wanted to do something great, he would become a manager for a woman. And if he wanted to, like, you can do like the video game and he could be Jordan Grace's manager, or he can be a manager for Ivy, really boost somebody who's at the bottom right now, who isn't being seen on television regularly, but needs that villainous heel boost that'll really get them over the top of the mountain. Even though, to me, Jordan doesn't need a boost, having Paul Heyman in her corner, if she's going to be a heel, would absolutely give her a mega boost, in my opinion. But we'll have to wait and see what Paulina's going to do. I mean, for now, he could just take a break, and chill out for a little while, relax, go, rest, get him some good food, and go about his business. But who knows where Paulina's going to be within the next couple of months. Now, like I told y'all before, there are a few PLEs that are set to come within the next couple of months. Sir, let me see here. What is this one? This is the Mexico Live tour, and it starts on September 9th, and it goes all the way to September 12th. That is a SmackDown and Monday Night Raw emanating from Mexico. It's only 2 dates for the tour, and then they have the 2 dates for Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. Okay. And then in September, we on the 6th, which is 3 days before they start the Mexico tour, they have Sunday night's main event in Atlanta. Okay. Now I suspect that Roman Reigns and LA Knight's match is gonna be in Atlanta. Don't know if it's gonna be a title match, but that match is gonna be in Atlanta. Roman always wrestles in Atlanta. Atlanta is like his home away from home. It's where he went to college. He always wrestles there. So more than likely, when they do this Sunday night main event, Roman is going to be there to wrestle on that card, and it'll be against LA Knight. Now, Money in the Bank is scheduled for October 10th, a few days shy of a month away from Sunday night main event in Atlanta. So they've got one TV PLE, one major PLE that they are going to be setting up for. And I'm pretty sure by after Sunday night main event, the qualifiers will begin, or maybe before, but the qualifiers will begin and they will start to add people to the men's and women's match. Okay. So we got a lot of things happening before we even get to Survivor Series War Games in November. So we've got Sunday night main event, Money in the Bank, and then Survivor Series War Games. Now, there should be a crown jewel in there before Survivor Series. They always go before Survivor Series. So it might be in the beginning of November, late October, when they do not Survivor Series, but Crown Jewel. And that is going to be another meeting of the minds. And it depends on who is champion during this time. Because if CM Punk is still champion, then CM Punk will be competing for his first ever Crown Jewel championship, as well as Roman Reigns competing for his first ever Crown Jewel championship. So there's a lot that can happen within the next couple of months. And we always know in December that everything begins to settle down, and then they ramp it back up in January for Royal Rumble. Okay. So they have not announced when SummerSlam is going to be next year, which that sucks donkey ass. But I suspect that announcement will be in January, which is usually where they make the announcements. At least they did it last year. So I'm hoping that they make the announcement by January. Maybe later on this year they can make that announcement. I don't know. But they pissed me off. I wish they would have just announced it. But tomorrow, for NXT, we got a few things cooking in the fire. Thea Hale and Jada Parker are set to take on Carmen Petrovich and Nikita Lyons of Natalia's little punk ass crew. And then we have Kendall Gray and Lola Vice in the underground. I pray that Lola Vice wins this match. And they did this and it's over with. But I know that if they're going to let her win, then it's going to be in a third match is going to happen at probably NXT Heat Wave, which will be fine. They'll be able to get that over the hump, and it'll be streaming simultaneously to ESPN as well. I hope Lola wins, though. I really, really do. Then you have the NXT Tag Team Championship match. Vanity Project is going to take on Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights. And then you have the NXT Women's Speed Championship on the line. Ren Sinclair will defend against Zarya. If Zarya wins, of course, she becomes a double champion. But if Ren Sinclair wins, then she gets the right to challenge Zarya for the NXT Women's Championship. All right. So that is what we're going to be looking at tomorrow. And there's a lot of storylines on NXT that you can be focused on. You've got Cruz Montana there with Tony D'Angelo. And of course, Grayson Waller has resurfaced in NXT. Plus, you've got the NXT Women's Championship being battled out. And you still have the situation going on between OTMs, Lucian and Nima, possibly breaking up due to Nima's affiliation with the Feros del Mal. Okay. But if you haven't been watching NXT, you've been missing out. So don't forget to watch it, because on Wednesday, we will have Freestyle Wednesday and we will talk all about it. Okay, we'll talk all about it. It's going to be a fun time. Now, if I didn't miss anything for Monday Night Raw, I'm going to get the hell out of here. So you guys don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. I will see you on Wednesday when we talk all about NXT and do Freestyle Wednesday. We're going to have a nice little conversation. And we're going to look at some more confessions over on Instagram. And of course, we'll always do SBC chat. So, love you guys down. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more wrestling content. Check out our merch and consider becoming a member for exclusive perks, special emojis, and members-only content.